Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Asus Windows Mixed Reality Headset, which also goes by the name of HC102. This is an unboxing video, an initial overview / review to show you what's in the box, talk about the setup process, and show you how you can access some of the content on it. Now, this is a mixed reality headset from Asus, which is quite similar to an Acer Windows Mixed Reality headset that I've tested before. There are a number of these being released by various different manufacturers, including Dell, Lenovo, HP, Asus, Acer, and I think someone else, but I can't remember who that is off the top of my head at the moment. The thing that makes these Windows Mixed Reality headsets interesting is they run on Windows 10 machines that have the latest full Creators Update RS3. And they also don't require as much power as the HTC Vive or Oculus Rift, so you can run them on an Intel Core i5 with 8GB of RAM and even an integrated graphics card. You don't need a dedicated GPU or a high-end GPU in order to run them, which means that you can access it with a lot cheaper computer. Now, for review purposes, I'm using an Asus laptop, which does have a decent 1060 graphics card in it, but that's by the by. This is an interesting design. As you can see, it has this sort of polygon style front to it and two front facing cameras. It plugs into your computer via HDMI and USB 3 cable, and there's also a jack for a 3.5mm headset, headphones or earphones depending on your preference. The design of it is pretty interesting. Inside the box you basically get the headset with the cables and the two controllers. The two Windows Mixed Reality controllers are very similar, basically exactly the same to the one available with the Acer and probably every other Windows thing, because they're pretty standard design. They don't seem to be tweaked by Asus at all. They have funky little lights on top, control sticks, trackpads, trigger buttons and side grip buttons. You can see the Asus Mixed Reality logo on the back and the Windows Mixed Reality logo on there as well. And this adjustable dial on the back of the headset allows for you to make the size bigger and smaller and make it comfortable and fit. Now, one of the highlights of the design of these Windows Mixed Reality headsets is this flip-up visor on the front. It flips up and out of the way when you're playing, which makes it a lot easier to put on and off in a hurry than the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive, which is actually quite nice. Downside of that is the sides of the headset and the back of it let in a lot of light, so there's a lot of light bleed from the real world, which can be a pain. However, it is very comfortable and really easy to adjust. There's none of this messing about with multiple Velcro straps to try and get the fit right, and it just sits on your face. One thing I found during use is that the pressure on your nose basically makes it difficult to breathe through your nose while you're playing, so it's quite tough to get right. Also found, as you can see from the unboxing and the design, that this is quite a thick plastic head strap all the way around. I found it's really difficult to wear headphones over the top of that. Now, underneath the controllers, these have already got batteries in, but it comes with AA batteries. There's a button here which is used for the Bluetooth pairing, so you need Bluetooth capabilities on your computer. And I'll add the specs into the description of this video so you can understand what you need to do, but you can also test the compatibility with an official app. Once those are paired, it's easy to use. You plug in the headset, it automatically starts the Windows Mixed Reality software and talks you through pairing the controllers and setting up the headset for use. Now, you can use this in a standing or seating position, or you can map out the room in the same way as the HTC Vive. You use the headset to trace around the room while aiming at the computer, so it gives it an idea of the play space. The cable on this is a bit short though. I did find that the cable for the headset is a bit short, so unless you've got your computer in an open space, which is why using a laptop is a good idea, it's very difficult to trace a large area, and you found out it was tugging on my head constantly and getting wrapped up of it. Now, this is a problem with mixed reality and virtual reality headsets in general anyway. I've had a similar problem with the Vive, which is why I recently got hold of the wireless TP cast to allow for some freedom, which is a joy. Unfortunately, they need to be tethered to a computer at the moment. I just wish they'd made the cable on this a bit longer so you had a bit more freedom to move around the room without getting knotted up on it. You can see when it's just a silly look through the visor, but in a minute I'll show you some of the actual footage recorded from within the headset. So now if you switch into this mixed reality sort of world, you're immediately dropped into the Cliff House, which is Microsoft space. There's a virtual space created within it, and you'll see these white lines in the game, which represents the borders of my real world play space and ensures that you don't end up bashing into things when you're moving around. Now within the Cliff House you get access to a lot of things, and it's actually improved since last time I saw it with the Asus device, because although there was some Microsoft related things, it was quite limited. Now you have access to Steam VR, which is nice. That gives you access to a lot of games, which I'll discuss in a bit more depth in a minute. Now within the various areas of the Cliff House you can launch various things. So you can see I've just gone into like a mini movie theatre, and you can launch a numerous number of 360 videos that give you some pretty cool and 360 content to look at and play around with. You can purchase stuff in there as well. There are a number of apps and games that you can purchase from the Microsoft Store to play around with as well. But the Cliff House basically lets you experience lots of different things. You can launch, obviously, official Windows things in it, so you can access Skype, you can access Microsoft Edge to browse the web, you can look at your own photos and video content, you can access games that you have bought on the Microsoft Store as well. There's access to a variety of different content. You can see the future of it, and it's quite good. One thing I will say about the design of this headset, compared to the Vive or the Rift, the quality of the lenses isn't as good. Now the resolution sits quite high at was it 1440? Hold on a minute. It's 1440 by 1440 resolution per eye, so it's 2880 by 1440 total. Has a 90 Hz maximum refresh rate and somewhere between 95 and 105 degree field of view. The specs are a bit choppy on that, they're not really clear on what it is. One thing I have found though is that the peripheral vision is very blurry. This is a problem with most VR and mixed reality headsets. Found if you're looking to the edges of the display, you have some problem with the peripherals being quite blurry and not being able to see properly, which can ruin the immersion somewhat. So looking straight ahead is key to getting that crisp, clear view. Obviously, the results are going to vary as well, depending on the content that you're looking at and the games you're playing and whatever else. The 360 videos have always been a bit sort of not that great in quality terms. It actually looks better where it's recorded here than it does in the headset, because it's obviously you've already got that one focus. So this was captured with OBS, capturing the display and showing what was in. But you can see how you can engage with the world and how you can look around it. You can pause, play, rewind those videos. So this is the video area within the mixed reality, but you can also, as I said, access your own photos, and you can sort of make the Cliff House your own. So you can take photos, you can take them out of your gallery, you can put them on the wall, you can make them larger. I mean, it's a bit gimmicky, but it's something to play around with. And you've seen similar things with Oculus Rooms and with Steam VR, where you can do sort of play around in this virtual room and make it your own. You see a nice big photo of me on the wall there. It's really egotistical, but it's the only one I could find on the laptop that was half decent. You also get these various objects that you can mess around with in the world. You can move them, you can put them on shelves, you can stick them on walls, you can delete them, you can make it smaller. There's a number of different holograms to mess about with. That's an app that's basically installed. It's free. It's just you put these different things out and then you can set them off to do a set sequence of animations and play around. Now, one of the interesting things I have found, and you'll see some footage of it in a minute, is not only can you play Steam VR games, which by the way is expanding on a regular basis, so you can have access to Steam VR via a application within Steam, which then lets you launch Steam games from it. It's a bit fiddly to play with. You have to go into Windows itself on your computer and then activate it, or mess around with a load of menus. It's not the most user-friendly experience, but once you do that, you can access a load of different games. They say there's 2,000 games to play. I actually found that quite a few of the different games that I've already got in my collection work with Windows Mixed Reality headsets. So examples are Space Pirate Trainer, Arizona Sunshine, Super Hot VR, Knockout League. They've got a load of other different games that will work with it. But you can also filter in Steam so that you can see which games will work with it, and I added this link in the description so you can get an idea of what's available. Now, also, all games will launch, so I found that Killing Floor Incursion launched on the Windows Mixed Reality headset, but it is not optimized for this device, so it freaks out because the base stations aren't there, so it doesn't recognize the fact that the base stations are present, and it can't handle it. So the headset itself has the 6 degrees of freedom tracking. There are no base stations. It uses gyroscopes and accelerometers, magnometers, and P sensors, and those two front-facing cameras provide inside-out tracking. Basically gives you 6 degrees of freedom, means you can move around horizontally and vertically and within the play space. And I found it was surprisingly good at tracking both the controllers and the movement as well. Just to quickly stop and talk about something else, you can see here with a plugin for Microsoft Edge browser, you can access 360 videos through YouTube as well. So there's a lot of easy ways to access a variety of different content on this device and on this platform. Obviously, this is open to any Windows Mixed Reality headset, not necessarily the Asus one, but this is the stuff that I grabbed with you using that headset. Now, as I was saying, you can play quite a few different games, and the tracking is fantastic. So we're playing Knockout League. It's a fast boxing simulation game. It's arcadey, but it's very fast. So there's a lot of movement in the tracking your head and the tracking your hands. Same as Space Pirate Trainer. In fact, it does it surprisingly well, and actually tracked punches and dodging really well, and that game was probably a bit more accurate on HTC Vive, but did surprisingly good job on this as well. I was really surprised considering there's no base stations and tracking. So when you're launching Steam VR, you'll see this is the Steam room, and if you're familiar with Steam VR at all, if you played it on the Rift or on Vive, then you'll know that it's immediately familiar layout and your access to your different games and your Steam home, and you can mess around with stuff inside that. So that gives you access to a wide range of games there to play around with and experiences as well too. So you can see that the world of Windows Mixed Reality actually gives you access to a lot of different things, because you not only get the Windows side of things, you get the Steam VR side of things, so you've got the best of both worlds. Now, in theory, the Asus headset should be a lot cheaper. I think it's £400 or something at the moment, so that's marginally cheaper than the Vive. Hopefully when more of these come out, the prices will drop down a bit. I think the Acer one's probably the cheapest. So there's that option as well. Now, whether you get what you pay for, obviously the quality. If you're looking for a high quality headset, then the Vive or the Rift are probably a better option. However, if you want Windows Mixed Reality and you want something that's really easy to set up, because it is really easy to set up, there's no need to faff around with base stations or loads of extra cables or loads of charging plugs. You just put the headset on and it basically goes about tracking itself, and it does an impressive job of it too. And with more and more content coming, and with that sort of Windows flexibility to be able to use loads of apps there, then that's great. One highlight, which I'll share at the end of this video, and you can see separately in another video I've done, is that I discovered that you can play Windows Xbox Play Anywhere games. So Xbox Play Anywhere games that are compatible with PC, you can play those within the Windows Mixed Reality by launching the app and then making it into a big screen within that. Now, it doesn't make... Like, if you take State of Decay 2 or something like that, for example, which is the video that I've done. If you take that, it doesn't make it into VR, but it makes it so that you can play it on a massive screen, which means you can sit down with an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One controller and play that game on a really large screen, which you probably can't do at home because it looks like a 200-inch screen or something rather than a 50-inch. So it's a lot better experience that way. The sound quality is also impressive, so you got, obviously that's going to vary depending on what headphones you got, but I was using some Bose noise cancelling ones, and that was a really good quality. So that's kind of, it gives pretty good immersion. The only problem is this peripheral vision. Obviously it's not going to be as crystal clear as having a really high-end monitor, but it looks pretty swish, and having it on a big screen. And if you want to like play in your bedroom or something on your laptop, but you want a bigger screen, and that's an option. Obviously, again, all of this is going to depend on your gaming machine. The headset isn't magically going to make your computer better, and you need a decent machine to begin with to be able to handle this. And the experience you're going to get is going to vary as well wildly. So just because the headset works with a lower end machine doesn't mean that the games are all going to be good. So that's another thing to say, is that the although some games work with the Windows Mixed Reality headsets, did find that some of the controls weren't necessarily optimized for it. An example is Arizona Sunshine, where the controls were reliant on the tiny little menu buttons on the edges of the controllers to move around, and that just didn't feel natural. It didn't feel right, because you usually use the trackpads, or you think you'd use control sticks to move around, but you just don't get to do that as easily with these. And it might be that some other games are also not optimized for it. Maybe they'll be improved in future if these mixed reality headsets take off. Now, just messing about with this sort of thing in virtual reality and the mixed reality world is quite fun to just play around with these things. But it gives you a lot of different options, a lot of different content options. Also, on talking to other people about this, I've heard that a lot of people like to use this sort of device to be able to watch video content. Now, because it's Windows based, it basically means that you can access, as you've seen, YouTube videos through the browser that also include 360, but also you can do Netflix on this. So you can use the Netflix app and you create a big Netflix window, and again you could have a massive Netflix screen within this play space to be able to sit down on your sofa and watch Netflix at your leisure. The controllers obviously allow you to adjust where you're looking, and then you can sit down and comfort and enjoy a great big screen. And because, unlike the Oculus Go that I reviewed previously, this is plugged in to your laptop, you've got constant power, so you haven't got to worry about power running out and not being able to watch as much content as you want. As I said as well, because of the flip-up visor, that allows for a lot more comfort. I really like the fact that you can just flip that visor up and out of the way. You can see here, using Microsoft Edge browser, yuck, wouldn't really do that in normal world, probably prefer Chrome, but to browse the web, so you can basically look at any videos you want, or any sort of content on the website. If you want to look at Pocket Lint, for example, highly recommend that site, wink. To check that out and have a look at that and just browse around the web, check your social media or whatever else. So there's plenty of options here and lots of things to play around with. So really, this Asus headset is an affordable way to get into mixed reality, which is a taste of virtual reality with a Microsoft spin on it, which is interesting. It's certainly interesting. You've seen in the box, it's quite a funky design, but it's what it offers isn't that different from the Acer one that we've seen before, and probably isn't that different from the others. They're basically all the same sort of thing with slight different branding on them, because the underneath of it is all Microsoft powered, and it's that Windows 10 functionality and the Steam VR stuff, and all that ties in. So it's really the content with this where these devices will shine, and the ease of accessibility. So being able to plug it in and just get going is real joy. And this cross-platform sort of ability to be able to play different content from different places is also great. So here I'm just about to demonstrate State of Decay 2. You see, you buy it in the Microsoft Store, you get it through the Xbox One, Xbox Pass capabilities. You launch the app, you get this tiny little window, and then you make it bigger and then plug in an Xbox controller, and you can basically play that game there. So that gives you the potential to play loads of different games on a massive screen on a headset, which is running on a laptop or PC, which is just bonkers when you think about it. It's like some sort of Inception. But there you go. This has been an unboxing and review of the Asus Windows Mixed Reality headset. I hope you found it useful. Please like, subscribe, and come back for more in future. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you've got any questions, especially if you hated the video, please let me know why. I'm always looking to improve my videos, so any comments is great. Thanks very much for stopping by. This is Provoked Prawn signing out. I'm going to leave you to enjoy some State of Decay Zombie Bash.